What's going on? Welcome to HDiiTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Now, Florida State's desire to lead the Atlantic Coast Conference has put the league and its future in a bind. Paul Feinbaum sees it that way too, considering what he sees on the line for the ACC regarding this lawsuit. Feinbaum spoke about the dispute between the Seminoles and the ACC with Greg McElroy on Always College Football on Monday. He said that a Florida State victory of their challenge of the conference grant of rights would lead to an emergency for those in Charlotte. However, he isn't sure if it'll even go to court, considering he doesn't think they'll want to risk making the matter any worse than it might already be. Well, I think it means serious trouble, said Feinbaum. I mean, there are so many nuances in this case. It's hard for me to believe it's going to go the distance, Feinbaum said. I think the ACC has way too much to lose. There's a lot of factors there. Feinbaum says the ACC already knows that they're in a dilemma. Based on their 3 realignment additions, he thinks those 3 came in less because of any straight up worth they provide, but more so because they needed to have some universities locked in case this all crumbles underneath them. The ACC probably wisely, even though it was easy to make fun of, went out and got a few more schools, Feinbaum said. They didn't do that because they thought those 3, SMU, Stanford, and Cal, were adding brand value. They did it from a protection standpoint. I think because of their television agreement, the ACC needs more schools. They couldn't get stuck there getting wiped out in case something happened, said Feinbaum. That was a preemptive move. Florida State has put the pressure on the ACC with this lawsuit, and their decision may very well determine the future of the league. That's why, in Feinbaum's eyes, he has very little faith that it will even remain a league for too much longer. It's hard to believe long-term that the ACC can remain intact, said Feinbaum. Realignment has been a storyline that has started to slow down as of late. That could very much change, though, if we get the eventual outcome in the legal battle between FSU and the ACC. On threes, Andy Staples and Pete Nakos looked at stare down between the Seminoles and Atlantic Coast Conference during Staples' show on Tuesday. As part of that, Staples dove into the details of why he thinks that this is as notable as it is. We don't know how this is going to end. We do know that neither side wants to take this thing to trial, says Staples. The results of losing a trial are pretty disastrous, actually more disastrous for the ACC than they are for Florida State. Florida State being stuck in the ACC until 2036 would be viewed as a disaster by them. So I think they will settle eventually, and it will allow Florida State out, which will allow Clemson out, which will allow North Carolina out. There's a number somewhere. I didn't say the number was low. The number is very high, but the ACC had to admit there's a number. Staples continued. They have to say it's a commercial possibility. It's just an alternative. You could pay for those rights back. I get that, but you have to understand that they spent 10 years pretending that there was no number, that there was no price. There's a price. We know there's a price because Texas and Oklahoma bought their way out of the Big 12, won the last year. There's a number, and Florida State may get to that number. Private equity may plow in enough money, or there may be a way that they get to the number as the ACC sees it now. Neither result would provide an optimistic outcome for the future of the league, according to Staples and Nakos. The ACC, the second they actually set a number, the clock ticks on the conference, Staples said. The minute Florida State leaves, you got to consider like how big of a brand that is, what it means to ESPN, who has the grant of rights. Then also how like Then there's precedent that Clemson or North Carolina or Virginia or Miami could leave. Not goes added. You lose 2 of those, like it's over for the ACC. Now, Florida State wants to leave because they got screwed last year. And the reasoning behind it was, oh, well, the reason behind it is, oh, well, they lost their starting quarterback and their backup wasn't really going to make it to the game or whatever they said. If Florida State would have played in a bowl game, Florida State would stay in the ACC. They're tired of being disrespected with the voters. So they know if they go to the Big 12, Big 10, they'll be fine. They're not going to the SEC because the SEC basically is mad because they wanted Florida State to come a while back, but Florida State turned them down. So they're still bitter about that. And plus, if we go to the Big 12 or the Big 10, like I said, we will get more love and we will have a chance to play in the big dance. You couldn't hold over our head. Oh, well, they play in the ACC, which is a basketball conference. You can't hold that over their head no more. See, ACC doesn't want to lose Florida State because Florida State brings the money. Yes, Clemson won their national title like a couple years ago, but Florida State still brings in more money than they do in the ACC. It's a fact. And if we leave, Clemson coming with us. Clemson like, man, F that. We going with them. And then you got Carolina who like, I want some of that. And then you got Virginia and Miami. They might say, we finna bolt too. Miami will be like, F it. So that means more money if they go to the Big 12. More TV deals. This is something that people don't understand. It's about the publicity. Florida State is pissed off. Florida State is pissed off because they're not getting any respect. They're tired of not getting any respect. So why am I going to stay in the ACC when basically if I'm staying in the ACC and we're getting screwed over, we're not allowed to go to a bowl game or even play for the championship. That's pissing a lot of us off. And we're still mad because we got screwed. We did get screwed. We should have been in the playoff. We would have did better than Alabama. We would have. Because we had the best D-line in the nation. And then we had the best second half adjustment. We were the best. We were one of the best second half teams in the country next to Michigan. So that's what I'm saying is that people wanted to let Saban get in because, he cried all year. Man, this NIL is messing up sports. No, it ain't messing up sports. It don't allow you to do what you've been doing, which is monopolizing the talent. You can't do it no more. So now it's like, F it, I quit. But he gonna be back. Saban gonna come back. He making too much money. Especially the commercials with him and Dion. If he messes around and go to a team right, and they end up playing Dion in the national title game, you know how much money that'll make? So you got to understand, this is all money. This is all business. Florida State don't hate the ACC. It's just that we know we're not going to get the respect. We know. That's why I said a long time ago, Florida State should have gone to the SEC. I said it. We should have gone. And everybody like, oh, they wouldn't have been able to play. How? What are you talking about? We have been awesome against the SEC the past 3 or 4 years. We have had a great record against the SEC. We've been good against them. So I don't get what people are trying to say the ACC is weak. It's not. It's just that we've been a great basketball conference, so people minimize how great or how much success we've had. So nobody care about all that. See, the ACC knows if they lose us, they lose money. They do. And then we're still working on the deal for Norville, who will probably get a 10-year deal, is looking like. And he deserves it. He's done a great job at Florida State. He's brought the recruits in, and he's a guy who gets on the players. You know, so we'll see. But do I think we get out of this contract? I think we do. I think Florida State will get out of this contract. We'll sit down and talk to to the people, who's in charge of the ACC, and we'll get a chance to move on from there. But they don't want us to leave because they know if we leave, they know Clemson's gonna come. Automatically, Clemson's gone. Now it's either gonna be North Carolina or Miami. I think North Carolina, Miami, and Vatech, and I don't know if Virginia will leave, but I definitely know Vatech will, because Vatech has a rivalry with us and Miami. So look for them to leave. Virginia, they could leave too, and they know that would hurt them. That's why they brought those extra teams in. But those extra teams don't bring no Cal and Stanford and SMU. Nobody give a shit about them teams. So that's all I got on that. But Florida State is tired of being disrespected. They're ready to move on, and I don't blame them. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit that notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you love what you hear, you can donate to the page. Go to the description box, hit that link. It'll take you to my Cashapp. You guys can also sign up to the Patreon. The link is in the description box. It's only $3 a month, guys. Y'all can sign up to the Patreon. And I'm also on Rumble. Make sure you go to rumble.com. rumble.com and follow my page so we can get it popping over there too. Shout out to Carcino for life, man. Carcino, I've been around, man. I was on suspension for a week. One of my titles I did for my Patreon video, I linked it to YouTube, man. It was kind of some bad words. So they banned me for a week. So I was on Rumble and Patreon all week. Shout out to Jag Sports, Jose and them. Shout out to Scrub. He signed up to the Patreon, so he'll let y'all know how good it is. Shout out to who did it this time. Lobo, L0B0 bitch. Jeff Bone the Bonehead. MDT Sports. Kingdom Cast with C-Pen and them sorry ass cheeks. Who else? Who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody else. I can't think of it. So, but I'ma holler at you guys. I'm out. Deezy.